right, so here we go. We're going to do the first example, and let's see what we can come up with this picture. Now, the four things we're looking for, obviously, are a time, a location, people, and any and all text. Now, as we go through this picture, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the information that we have right here so we can gain some greater perspective to figure out possible choices in U.S. history that this picture might pertain to. So, first thing I notice with this picture is there is no text. So let's go ahead, let's put that down. No text with this picture. So we can't use that to formulate an idea. Next thing I'm going to look at is the people. They're obviously the subject matter of this text. Or this, not this text, this image. So we have three children in duck and cover format. So let's put that down. We got three children in duck and cover. Cool. So three children, duck and cover. What about what they're wearing? Does that look like something you would wear to school? No. Does it look like something your parents may have worn to school? Probably not. What about your grandparents? Very true. So older school clothing. Okay. We know that there are three children in duck and cover. They're wearing older school clothing. Let's take a look at this location. It's obviously a classroom, right? It looks like a classroom to me because we got some desks. Classroom, we have desks. What about those desks? Those desks look like the desks that you have. Are there computers on them? Are there anything there? No, I don't see no computers. No computers. Old desks. Cool. So we've got old desks, no computers, three children, duck and cover, older school clothing, and there's no text with this picture. Now, with those clues that we have right now, can we go and get an idea of when this might be a possible choice in U.S. history? Well, we know duck and cover is what happens when a tornado comes to your school. If you've been in a duck and cover drill before, they tell you to get away from the windows and get in a duck and cover so the tornado doesn't blow out the windows and hurt you. Okay? But this is a black and white photo, and I'm pretty sure this picture has nothing to do with a basic tornado. If it were for a basic tornado, we would definitely have a more modern picture. Or maybe if it were a significant tornado, there might be more indicators. They would probably use a better picture for a story about a significant tornado. But we have a black and white photo with three children wearing really old clothing and duck and cover under a very old desk in an old schoolhouse. Let's establish a time. It's black and white, so it's before the 60s, so that's for sure. Before 60s. Let's go ahead and put that here. And judging by the clothing, it's still probably before the 60s. Looking at the desk, no computers, no electronics, it's still well before the 60s. And the kids are in duck and cover. So let's think about this. Why would children be in duck and cover before the 60s in the United States? Why would they practice this, right? Is it possibly tied to the Cold War? Is it possibly tied to the uncertainty of a nuclear war? Maybe, right? So that's definitely an option. So we'll put the tornado option up there too. So we got the tornado option. We got Cold War option. We got nuclear option, which is tied to the Cold War option. And that's what we got. So from looking at that picture, we know it's an older picture before the 60s. It's in black and white. We could also guess it's before the 60s too because of what the kids are wearing. We don't see any computers or any other technology. It's a pretty old desk. It's a pretty old schoolhouse. No computers, old desks, three children in duck and cover, older school clothing, no text with this picture. Now, you could go even further. If you examined school uniforms of the time, you can probably get a better date, but no, they're probably not going to ask you that. Someone could possibly say, well, this is a British school, and this is during an air raid in World War II. That might be a possibility, but we're thinking in terms of U.S. history. So in terms of U.S. history, the tornado option is probably ruled out. It's very possible this is a Cold War option, and it's very possible it's tied to a nuclear option or a Cold War option. One of the practices for children, I know, it makes total sense. If a nuclear bomb goes off in your neighborhood, duck and cover. It's not going to help you. It's not going to save your life. But they still made the children duck and cover. So if you're examining a question on your EOC pertaining to Cold War or anything like that, if you saw this picture, you could obviously rule out all other choices and go with a Cold War option. Pretty interesting. And then we just got that by looking at three people in a schoolhouse, a location, and making sure it was a black and white photo. We also looked at the clothing, the schoolhouse, and everything that was taking place in the picture. So this is possibly related to the Cold War. So in the next video, I'll reveal what this picture is actually tied to, and we'll go ahead and do another example. So continue on to example 2.